As the economy becomes increasingly digitized, many companies hold highly sensitive customer personal information. They also obtain information from various sources to study customer behavior. Data is associated with significant risk if it's stolen and abused. Therefore, General Data Protection Regulation was introduced to specify how customer data should be used and protected. Gdpr was officially adopted by the European Parliament in April 2016. Following a 2-year post-adoption period, it will become enforceable in May 2018. It applies to everyone involved in the processing of data about individuals in the context of selling goods and services to citizens in the EU, regardless of whether the organization is located within the EU. GDPR's major requirements include 7 areas. First, consent. In obtaining consent for data use, companies cannot use indecipherable terms and conditions filled with legalese. Also, it must be as easy to withdraw consent as it is to give it. Breach notification. In the event of a data breach, data processors have to notify their controllers and customers of any risk within 72 hours. Right to access. Data subjects have the right to obtain confirmation from data controller of whether their personal data are being processed. Data controller should provide an electronic copy of personal data for free to data subjects. Right to be forgotten. When data is no longer relevant to its original purpose, data subjects can have the data controller erase their personal data and cease its dissemination. Data portability. This allows individuals to obtain and reuse their personal data for their own purposes by transferring it across different IT environments. Privacy by design. This calls for inclusion of data protection from the onset of designing systems, implementing appropriate technical and infrastructural measures. Data protection officers. Professionally qualified officers must be appointed in all public authorities or organizations that engage in large-scale, that is more than 250 employees, systematic monitoring or processing of sensitive personal data. Organizations can be fined up to 4% of annual global turnover or 20 million euros, whichever one is greater, for non-compliance. GDPR to date is seen as the strictest data security framework in the world. For businesses, GDPR poses more restrictions on what they can do with data to extract commercial benefits. Operational process and data in structural changes can cost millions of pounds on compliance spending. At the same time, implementing GDPR strengthens customer trust, as the reputational risk associated with data security breach is very costly. In the long term, GDPR is a necessary step to legally safeguard data security rights in this digitized world.